Hey everyone, it's Nicole Wolfe here from Canadian Beats, and I am so excited tonight to be joined on the phone with not only a recording artist, but also a radio personality, DJ KAV, joining us from Calgary. Thanks so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Now, we're very thankful to a pal of yours, Bill Miller, over at Sharp 9 Music, who was actually the catalyst for hooking us up with you. And we're so honored to have this chance to speak with you today. We think, you offer a really unique position, being both an artist and someone who works at a radio station, basically as a gatekeeper for determining, the music submissions that will ultimately end up on the radio. And we think you really have an interesting story to tell that our listeners would really appreciate to hear. So thank you to Bill at Sharp 9 Music for this. Now, before we get into this, we just want to fill our listeners in a little bit on who DJ KAV is. As an artist, he's probably one of Canada's biggest and most recognizable DJs in Canada. He reaches millions of viewers monthly. Now, not only is he a recording artist, but he also works at a nightclub, doing the nightclub scene and as a DJ, and he has a band, drum and DJ band as well. He's opened for many Canadian and international acts. The list is long. It's absolutely massive. Just to touch on a few people that you've worked with: Rihanna, Flo Rida, Snoop Dogg, Pitbull, Ice Cube, Ludacris, Iggy Azalea, 50 Cent, and so on and so on. People can check out your socials, to see how long that list is. And actually, you were with Sean Desmond last night.
I actually was, yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing. So, obviously your credentials are there, and we're super stoked to be talking to you today. Now, you also, something we're going to talk a little bit later on, we definitely want to bring up the fact that as an artist, you've recently recorded a single called Shooting Star. So just keep in mind, we'll talk about that in a little bit. And to touch a little bit on the fact that you are a radio personality, you work for 90.3 AMP Radio. He does actually do daily shows at 5 p.m., Thursday mornings, Friday nights, and you even have your own syndicated Saturday night mixdown, and also act as a music director for a top 40 major market chart reporter. And as I mentioned, you are basically that gatekeeper for determining what music gets on the air. So, now that I've pretty much wowed our audience with who you are, let's get to talking about some of these details. So first of all, tell us about your single Shooting Star that you've recently released. What was your role in its creation?
I'm usually involved in most of the production aspect of it, so the music side of things.
Mm-hmm.
I do work with a team of guys, one of them being the guy from Drum and DJ. We've been together for 9 years coming up in May.
Right.
So everything that's released under the DJ KAV brand or Drum and DJ, it's all in the same camp. It's just a matter of, does the sound match the Drum and DJ brand, or does the sound match the DJ KAV brand? That's kind of how we dictate it. But it kind of comes from that area. And actually, Shooting Star was a totally different song. That was going to be more of a summer song last July, August.
Mm-hmm.
And we came around in September. I just didn't feel it was musically where I wanted it to be. So we went back and actually restructured the whole thing over again.
Wow.
And got ready to release it in the later on in the year.
Amazing. Now, what's the easiest way that your fans could get a hold of this song?
Shooting Star's on everywhere. It's on Spotify. It's on iTunes. And every other aspect I think you can possibly think of as far as social media goes.
Absolutely.
For Shooting Star.
Absolutely. Now, who are your musical inspirations that you draw from when you create your music, either for your band or for your individual act?
Well, there's people that I really enjoy as DJs in production, but there's one guy I always call my musical god.
Mm-hmm.
From the day I got into music since I was young, and that's without a doubt Michael Jackson.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely an idol. Now, his music isn't necessarily like yours, but you're obviously drawing from other aspects of his music.
Yeah, I've always looked at Michael Jackson as he really, I think, was the first one, in my mind, that didn't have any barriers for music.
Right.
There's stuff that he's done with rock, that's been urban, that's been pop, that's been dance, and he never lets any stereotypical genres hold him back at all. So that's kind of what we really try to do, because we have different influences inside the camp that have different sounds. For example, the drummer that I work with, Brad Jones, he's more of has some rock influences background. So when me and him work together, we try to make sure that, you know, he has some influence in the songs as well, and he's learning about what I do, and vice versa as well. So there's a huge respect level as far as knowing music. And I think the biggest thing with us is, as long as there's no barriers in music, you can get anything done.
Right. Now, as a DJ, you know, you spin lots of other artists' musics at clubs, but what is the club or a crowd's reaction when you play your own music at a show, such as Shooting Star?
You know, I'd love to say it's great all the time, but when it's breaking out, you just don't know, because it's like any other song. When you're first trying to break a song out in the middle of your sets, sometimes it works, sometimes people are looking at you like, what is this? But by the time, you know, you get 30, 40, 5 seconds in, they're kind of, you know, bopping their head and everything else. And other times when it's your own show, opening up for a major concert, and you're on the bill as the DJ or the feature, then it's more of a, I think it's more recognizable at that point, which is kind of really cool, because you know, you're playing the song and it's your song, and yet you're interacting with the crowd on your own song instead of somebody else's song.
Yeah, that would be an absolutely amazing experience for sure. Now, will there be a follow-up to this song?
Yes, actually the follow-up's all ready to go. It's ready to come out early to mid-spring. We've actually just sent it off to mastering and mixing Wednesday, so a couple days ago.
Oh, wow.
And we'll have that back, and we'll just be ready to roll out the marketing plan for it, and find out exactly how we're going to release it again. Obviously pitching to the major labels first, and then going on from there afterwards.
Sounds great. It sounds like it might be a summer anthem, but with the way you've got it planned.
It's very summery, 100% very summery. It's definitely got a lot of the new influences in there, as far as you know, the Justin Bieber, DJ Snake, Major Lazer kind of sound to it. So it's very, very summery.
Amazing. Well, we look forward to that for sure. Now, what does the rest of 2017 look like for you as an artist in particular?
For production-wise, we're working on a lot of remixes. We just finished the Ed Sheeran remix for Shape of You. That's on our SoundCloud account. And then we also just finished, which was really quick turnaround, the Maroon 5 new song called Cold with Future. So that's ready to go. That'll be out next Wednesday. And then we're just working on remixes as far as the Drum and DJ brand goes. And then as far as my brand goes, we'll have the next single out in early spring. We also got locked in to open up for the Chainsmokers in July. So that'll be our big show coming up there. And then now, when spring and summer comes in, we'll obviously look at some more tour dates and try to play out of town a lot more.
Fantastic. That sounds amazing. Now, tell me a little bit about your job as a music director. What specifically do you do?
Music director, I mean, we're, you know, responsible for what songs we add, what songs we drop, the flow of the radio station, and just overall, you know, I always call it as the identity of what the radio station is really all about, what separates AMP Radio from any of its competitors in town or across Canada as well. So I think being the music director really gives you a lot of influence and credibility with a lot of the labels as well. Because if you can pick out a song that's a hit before they know about it, or they feel that it's going to be a hit, and all of a sudden they're looking at you going, how is this guy picking up the stuff before we are?
Right. That's awesome. That would be you know, a really unique vantage point to be at, for sure. Now, what are some of
it's really the funnest part of the job.
Is it?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
It's really fun. The funnest part of the job. Absolutely. Yeah. Because when you're trying to pick out hits, and whether it's, you know, Canadian band, or if it's international act and they haven't really broken out here yet, or you think it's going to be the next single, but it's not, you're pushing it, and you see, you know, a couple times in the last few months alone, there's songs that I play on the mix shows that all of a sudden the label's going, we don't know what happened, but that just went to number 3 on Shazam last week in Calgary.
Wow.
And of course, getting no radio play except for that mix show. So it's really kind of cool to see the interaction between mix shows, credibility, and results from the streaming sites.
Right. Now, what is it that, like, I mean, you're trying to stay ahead of the curve here, essentially. What is it that makes you recognize a song as being a potential hit, or does it really depend on the song itself?
I wish I knew the secret, but I have no idea.
Right. It's probably a mix of factors.
I just think it's being able to connect with the song. I don't think it's any, you know, again, it goes back to, I really don't like genres that much. It's just a matter of, do I feel a song, or do I not feel emotionally connected to a song? Do I sing it, you know, do I want more 30 seconds in, or am I kind of done with it? Is it memorable? Is it not memorable? And it's really those things. And, you know, I do come from a musical background with my uncles owned a record store in Toronto. So I've been around music a lot of my life. My older brother was a DJ, so it's just been around me all the time. So I can't really pinpoint why I've been fortunate to pick out a lot of hits in my career and just go with it.
Right.
I wish I knew the secret in that.
Well, I mean, that's why you have the job, essentially. You know, you've obviously got that figured out. Now, what would you say is the biggest challenge in that role?
I think the biggest challenge in that role is the expectations. You know, I like to think I bat about 80 to 90% as far as being able to pick a hit that's not a hit yet. But the 10% that doesn't happen, you feel really like you let the team down, and maybe you let the crowd down or the listeners down a bit. Not necessarily that it's that harsh on yourself, but you'd like to obviously have that perfected so that you can always pick a hit at all times. Because the more you do that, the more you can help yourself out as an artist, developing a song that you think is going to be a hit as well.
Absolutely. Now, as we've been hinting at, you really do have a really unique vantage point, being that you kind of sit on both ends of the spectrum. You as an artist, you're doing what you can to get your music recognized by radio stations and to get that airplay, which is so critical for, your survival as an artist. And then yet you sit on the other end of the spectrum where you are the gatekeeper, for determining what music hits the radio. So my question for you is, what advice or insights do you have for artists much like yourself who are trying to achieve this radio play?
Radio I think plays a real big role as far as hits go and getting that mass audience. But the way it's going, and you can see a bunch of different stories out there now, that there's other mediums now as far as social media and just getting yourself heard. And it could be a lucky break where the right person crosses your song and they connect with you, right? So I've come across certain artists or certain songs that I just find online, and I'm going, this is a great song. Why does nobody know about this yet? Right? So there's different ways nowadays I think that you can get your music heard and out there, as opposed to back in the day where you had to have a record label, had to get distribution through a major label, and that was really the only chance you ever had is making it, right?
Absolutely. Well, you kind of touch on my next question for you then. I was going to ask, what do you see the value of social media in either role, a role as, a radio personality or as a role as an artist?
I think social media is huge right now. It really solidifies who you are, and it's your opportunity to directly interact with your personal fans, and they can get a glimpse into what you do, on a daily basis. I know sometimes if I'm doing a show or whether I'm outside or at a club or something else, the funniest thing that I always get is people come say hi or request a song, but automatically they know my dog's name. Right. And to me, it's mind-blowing that someone knows your dog's name, but they've never met them, but they're always on social media, right? So I think the one thing with social media is you have to really play a fine line with advertising and pushing your own product down people's throats rather than, being able to actually connect with people, understand them and respect them and, their lives as well, and take an interest in people's lives as well.
Absolutely. I mean, social media is not supposed to be just a free form of advertisement, right? Like, if you want people to engage with you, essentially, you need to have them buy into what you're doing. And shoving something down their throat isn't necessarily the most successful way to gain followers, for sure. So I think you've hit the nail on the head on that one, for sure. So just wanted to take a little bit of an opportunity to get to know DJ KAV a little more as a person, for maybe those that aren't following you on social media that don't know your dog's name. When you tour or when you go to a show, what's your must-have item that you bring with you?
As far as what I need, or my requests, are you going to be like, what's wrong with him?
Let's keep gear aside, because obviously, you're going to need your turntables and whatever it is that you're using. What is something that you would bring in your bag with you that no one else would bring that, you need because it's you?
You're gonna laugh at this one, but it's hand sanitizer.
Well, I mean, that does make sense. You're a public figure. For sure, that would make sense. Hey, I understand that one. Perhaps you should be contacting Bath and Body Works for a little endorsement there, and you can have your
Yeah, exactly. Borderline germaphobe, I guess, sometimes.
Not a problem. It's not a bad thing to be in today's society, that's for sure. Now, who was DJ KAV before you entered the world of music?
I've actually had a huge musical influence throughout my whole life. I mean, when I was super young, my older brother DJ'd. he moved to Toronto, left his equipment behind, and I started off, in grade 8 or 9, just trying to figure out what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, for me, it felt like it gave me an outlet to, at that age when you're 12, 13, 14, there's always a release. Some people play sports, some people react badly towards their parents or do something wrong. For me, it was always music, and I was able to connect with music.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I went on to doing retail, and I was at HMV for several years. Ending up being a manager at one of the bigger stores in Calgary and one of the biggest selling dance record stores in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I tried to get into broadcasting, because I thought, well, radio is the next step for me other than clubs, I got denied into broadcasting. I think it was 2 years in a row. So then I was like, okay, well, now what? So then I went and got my education in behavioral sciences.
Wow.
And then lo and behold, I ended up being in radio anyways without having a degree. So that's another chapter. People are going, well, how do you not have a broadcasting degree and you're in a major market? But it was just, working around the system, I guess. It worked out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's not always an easy point A to point B route to take, for sure.
Exactly.
Awesome. Now, Canadian Beats, we're all about supporting Canadian artists in particular. Who is one Canadian artist that you would love to collaborate with in the future?
That are true Canadians or that are still releasing Canadian music?
Either one. Any Canadian connection.
I'm a huge Bieber fan,
mm-hmm.
And I really, really like The Weeknd as well, because Weeknd, I think, has got that, and I hate to compare anyone to him, because I get upset when people compare anyone to Michael Jackson, but he's got that, a touch of that Michael Jackson
mm-hmm.
feel to him, and I think he's a super, super brilliant mind and a really, really talented singer.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to both of those in the future. Those would both be amazing collaborations. What's the last concert you attended as a fan?
That's a great question.
You probably don't get the chance to do that often.
What was the last concert? Oh, it was, sorry, of course, that was silly. That was last June. That was Justin Bieber.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, we are totally gearing up for festival season here at Canadian Beats. A lot of the stuff that we're pumping out right now is geared towards, identifying the lineups and whatnot. Will you be attending any festivals, or do you have a favorite?
I actually haven't gone to too many festivals just because of the work schedule and the amount of time you'll have to take off and not. But
mm-hmm.
this year is one of the focuses is definitely to get on a couple more festivals
mm-hmm.
Throughout the summer as well. So that's, part of the production is getting the remixes out there and having original material is getting us into those festivals because we think we can really connect with that audience
mm-hmm.
and give them something that, a live drummer, a DJ, a singer, and being able to play popular music and remixes and original material, which really is something unique in my opinion that no one's really doing.
Awesome. Well, hopefully you make your way out to Ontario where I'm based, because we would absolutely love to cover you. That would be amazing. Mm-hmm.
I look forward to that.
That would be great. And one last question for you. In 20 words or less, describe DJ KAV.
Big music lover, very passionate about it, dog lover, family, and my motto really has been just be kind to others.
Amazing. All awesome attributes, all things that make you probably amazing at what you do inside and outs. So thank you so much for joining us today. I know you've got such a busy schedule, and we appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you so much. This has been Nicole Wolfe from Canadian Beats, and we'll catch you next time.